And we're back with Richard Reviews. Today we're reviewing a book for richardreviews.com/Griffin Chestnut here on YouTube. Griffin Chestnut, of course, is Richard's online YouTube alias. Of the many aliases that Richard has, Griffin Chestnut is his main one. Today's book, or rather piece, that Richard will be reviewing for us today is titled Civilization and Its Discontents by Sigmund Freud. And this piece has an introduction by Christopher Hitchens. This, of course, is a very popular piece. Anybody who is into psychology and any other notions knows about this piece, being its incredible, basically the Bible of its time. Sigmund Freud, of course, being a very popular father figure of psychology, and Carl Jung with the predecessor from that. This is Richard's piece, so we're going to take a look at it. We're going to delve into this and discuss what Richard liked about this, what Richard didn't like about this, and what Richard could add to this. It's a very short piece too. It's not very long. It's rather thin, just over 100 pages, and Richard is quite a fan. Richard read this piece in 2014, and he discovered it while hiking in the North Canadian region, doing some research for his theatrical theater preview. He is subscribed to numerous publications known as Vsauce and the Cultivated Life of the Sanitarium. Richard obtained this piece in 2014, and he also completed reading it in 2014. You can click the link in the bio for his detailed review, which he uploaded on his blog, and you can see his thorough Jesus Christ picture that Richard put together through his artwork television art piece. Richard graduated from college, and he attended community college through that time. He also read a lot of Friedrich Nietzsche, a little bit of Leo Tolstoy, Fyodor Dostoevsky, some Kurt Vonnegut, a little bit of Charles Bukowski, and some Haruki Murakami. These were what he calls the authors of existentialism, objects on the outside, and they're hanging on the insides. Similar to Proust's novel In Search of Lost Time, there's a sense of being triggered by some sort of sensory information in which the reader encounters a believable part of the relationship is not only your own fault, but your own fault for reading anything west of the sun. And by west of the sun, you can talk about Grapes of Wrath, East of Eden, both novels by John Steinbeck. Of course, The Master and Margarita by Mikhail Bulgakov, and The Gulag Archipelago by Alexander Solzhenitsyn. Beautiful pieces about the Russian Revolution and the existentialists that come from the 1917 Russian Revolution, being a Russian literature major. Therefore, we acquire an essence of who we are, in other words, of what we are doing, how Richard makes the standards. So we're going to take a look at the piece. This is Richard's piece, so we're going to take a look at it from front to front, side to side, and really get into the whole nitty-gritty. So you can tell in the front, civilization, its contents. You can tell how short it is on the bottom. So it's a rather big piece, nice standard, but it is kind of short on the bottom. Okay, so the condition, of course, we have this used down here. So this was obviously purchased from a used book salesman. Okay, Richard purchases a lot of his pieces that way. Unfortunately, there is some graffiti. This is going to take some points off, but other than the Stampede over here, the cream and condition is pretty good. We have some good cream on the side. We have some good cream as well, and on this side, good cream as well. We have another used symbol here, so this is going to take some points off again, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Okay, so here's the side for Sigmund Freud, Civilization and Its Discontents. This is the standard edition. This is the standard edition. Okay, Richard is a fan of the standard edition, and you can tell it's the standard edition from Richard being a fan of it. These are important deadlines. Now, as we take a look at the at the back. So we have more stuff that Richard ultimately took some points down. We have some barcode stickers. Looks like multiple, if that may be 3 or 4, that were placed on top of the original barcode down here. It's sort of a dialect figurine, which you can compute with the basic standardization of this piece. Why the bookstores do this is a notion that's predetermined through the shelf life of this piece. So it varies through shelf life to shelf life. Ultimately, we can see that this piece right here was shelved and then stamped and then peated down, stamped and then peated down. So unfortunately, this as well takes points off the piece, considering that this is impeding on the condition of the piece, as we'll see, and we'll go into it later. Up here, we have psychology as the genre, and we will get into that as well. So, a very good piece. It's definitely soft cover, as you can tell, and it's very wavy. It's got great wave. Nothing but good wave over here. Full wave, full beam, good cream. Nice cream. Very good cream, actually. Alright, let's look inside. Okay, more from Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud, he did a lot of works in the time that he was alive. And here we have some of these footnotes that Richard ultimately decided he needed to place inside of the piece itself. This will take some notes and some scores off the ultimate concoction, but Richard felt that this was necessary while creating this asparagus way of life, where he did his footnotes and his ultimate studying of this piece. As you can tell, conscience equals ego. Okay, so he is with the ID. He's with the id now. Id, super ego, id, bad conscious, ego, good conscious. So Richard did a lot of studying while completing this piece, as you can tell, and he did a fantastic job ultimately showing what he can do with his literature and his knowledge at the time. So kudos to Richard for that. An amazing job. Once again, Richard knocks it out the park with this stuff. He read this entire book through and through and did a fantastic job showing what can be done and what can't be done. So thank you for that, Richard. We have much to learn from you. Considering you're reading pieces like this, there's a lot that's going on with the genius philosophy that is Richard. His words that he believes in are not only bringing in the slated freedom to which we carve a statue of our own free will, but it is a substantial pastor of this piece. And that pastor, of course, not only dilutes the protagonist's main responsibility, but his actions of becoming someone as horrible as Joseph Stalin can only prolong his fate. And Marcel Proust does a fantastic job in his autobiographical agreement through the stature of what makes each person a writer producing beautiful novels of the 20th century and so forth. So we have Richard to thank for that. We have Sigmund Freud to thank for that. And it is the demise long before we die, no matter how long we take responsibility. You can foresee it through you have nothing against the slow decay. You can tell what the sky brings, the statues of the red body, and the slaying of the small children. As the water shelves, Sartre, the non-human, nature, God, and the unconscious. Sigmund Freud finds a way to navigate that all and bring it in text format in 3 different colors. Now, thank you, Sigmund Freud, and thank you, Richard. This has been a Richard exclusive. Richard reviews every Tuesday, so catch us next Tuesday when we'll upload a new Richard. Thank you, and goodbye.